Good afternoon. My name is Ernesto, and I will be your moderator for today's session. Welcome to this webinar sponsored by the City of Los Angeles Department of Cannabis Regulation, Business, Licensing, and Compliance Assistance Program. BLC is designed to assist social equity applicants in Los Angeles in obtaining a commercial cannabis license and operating a successful cannabis business. This installment of our 2025 webinar series focuses on Business Plan Development Part 2. Now, before we get started, let's take a moment to review some housekeeping rules. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and can be viewed only on DCR's Learning Management System after the editing process. You will be muted with cameras off for the duration of the webinar. This means that your camera and audio functions will not be available to you during this session. However, you will be able to see and hear all of the panelists. There's an open chat box where you can interact with one another for networking or comment on the information being provided. Please use caution when sharing personal information in a public forum and keep your questions focused on today's topic. Please ask questions about today's subject matter in the Q&A box. We are gathering and responding to your questions throughout the presentation, and we'll have a Q&A session where you will also get responses in the last portion of today's event. You are encouraged to utilize the Q&A box at the bottom pane of your Zoom screen. If you use the Q&A box for questions, everyone will be able to see the questions when they are answered. Finally, please note that today's content was not created by the Department of Cannabis Regulation or the City of Los Angeles and is for informational purposes only. This information is subject to change and does not replace or supersede the Los Angeles Municipal Code, nor does it constitute legal advice. If you have specific questions outside of today's topics, please call 213-978-0738 during the business hours of Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. through 4 p.m. to speak to a DCR representative. And now, I'd like to introduce our esteemed guest presenter, LaWanda Knox. LaWanda Knox, MBA, is the founder and CEO of Make Green Go, a cannabis equity consulting firm that has been breaking barriers and building pathways since day one. With 13 years of deep experience in the cannabis equity programs across California and beyond, she's the architect behind California's first equity cannabis marketing initiative, Equity Week, and has helped launch the state's first equity conference, equity product summit, cannabis career fair, and more. She's not just about talking about equity, she's about delivering results that matter. LaWanda has guided equity businesses to 40 to 50% increases in product orders and helped secure distribution deals across supply chains. From Oakland to San Francisco, Richmond to Sacramento, and even Washington State and Colorado, she's provided technical assistance and grants management that actually moves the needle. With thousands of dollars earned, consulting startups and writing business plans the traditional way, LaWanda knows firsthand how expensive and time-consuming the process can be. That's why she's bringing AI-powered solutions directly to cannabis equity participants through her online presentations for Los Angeles DCR. Now, the same communities that have been locked out of capital can access the tools to write, update, and implement their business plans in real-world situations without breaking the bank. LaWanda speaks the language of Ubuntu. I am because you are. She is committed to making sure equity isn't a buzzword, but a lived reality for Black and brown cannabis entrepreneurs building generational wealth in an industry built on their community's backs. Now, I'd like to ask LaWanda to join me on screen. Welcome, LaWanda, and feel free to start sharing your screen and presentation.
Thank you for that warm introduction, Ernesto. Sharing my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen okay? Good. All righty. Getting started now. Just getting my screen together. All right. So, welcome back, everyone. Last time we talked about what AI can and cannot do for your business plan. So, let me remind you who I am and why I'm qualified to teach you this. Again, I'm Lawanda. I've been in cannabis for over 13 years and serving equity applicants for 8 of those years. I created California's first equity public awareness campaigns, the first equity summit and expo, and I've been working with equity entrepreneurs like yourself since day one. Here's the thing. I've written business plans for startups. I've consulted with people trying to get licensed. I've made thousands of dollars doing this work. And I've seen what happens when people can't afford to hire someone like me to write their business plans. They struggle. They submit weak plans. Sometimes they don't even write the business plans at all. So that's why I'm bringing you AI directly, not to replace the work you need to do, but to help you organize what you already know and present it professionally. So today, we're going to get hands on. By the end of this session, you'll know exactly how to use these tools for yourself. So, after part one, we got some great feedback about what would be most helpful moving forward. We're going to get hands on today, actually showing you how to use these tools step by step. That's what today is all about. And some of the questions that we got was, how do we actually log in? Which AI tools should we even use? And what do I type to get good results? And how do I know if the output is any good? So here's our plan. First, we'll help you choose which AI tools make sense for you. Then we'll show how to set that up. After that, we'll demonstrate how to write prompts that get you useful results. And then finally, I'll show you how to take what AI gives you and make it yours. Okay, so there are three main AI tools that you'll hear about: ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. All three have free versions that you can use right now. All three have paid versions that cost about $20 a month if you want more features. So, for writing a business plan, any of these will work. I'm going to demonstrate with Claude today, but the process is similar across all of them, and they are all mobile friendly. So, here's how to decide. If you're already using Google Docs and Gmail for everything, then Gemini might feel natural. If you want to use the same tool most people are using, so you can find help easily, go maybe with ChatGPT. If you're writing something long and detailed, Claude can handle that really well. And if you're not sure, start with ChatGPT. It is the most popular, so there are more YouTube videos and tutorials available if you get stuck. So, real talk, you can write your entire business plan with the free version. But personally, I like to get the paid version so that I can use it across my business needs. The paid version is faster and it lets you ask more questions in a day. But if you're patient and spread out your work, free is just fine. I'm going to use the free version for today's demonstration so you can see exactly what comes with the free version. So setting up your account is pretty straightforward. I'm showing you Claude here in this example because I do everything with Claude and it's my go-to AI assistant. But ChatGPT and Gemini work the same way. You go to Claude.ai, you can sign up with your Google account to make it faster, or you can use your email address. and you see I'm pointing out these steps. They'll send you a verification email. You're going to click the link and then you're ready to go. This maybe might take 2 minutes and then you're in. All right. So now I'm going to show you in real time by playing this video I recorded, and you're going to watch me go through these steps. Okay, so I started on Google and then I type in Claude.ai. Okay, and then I click on Claude by Anthropic, and then it brings me to the login screen, right? So then I selected that I'm going to log in using my Gmail account just because it's easier. But you could log in with just typing in any email account. You don't have to have Gmail to use it. And then I hit continue, and it's verifying my Gmail account. And then it's going to let me create my account. So I hit, check for the disclaimer. I hit continue, and then it gives me options. I'm going to pick the free version for this demo. Okay, and then now it's giving me some information about Claude and introducing me. Then I'm going to hit that I understand. And then it's going to ask me my name because Claude makes, and a lot of these tools make the experience personal to you. So it's asking me for my name. And then it's asking me to pick things I'm interested in. So I just select the top 3 of how I'm going to use this platform. And then AI is prompting me on what conversation that I want to start with it. So I just selected something based upon what it was showing. But what I really wanted to do was start my own conversation with my own prompt. And so you'll see me go to the left-hand side and start a new chat. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to start a new chat. And so there I am. So now I am where I want to be. It took about, 2 minutes. And this is where I type and I'll get my answers. All right. So now we're going to talk about prompts because it's all about the prompts. A prompt is just the instruction you give the AI. The better your instructions, the better your results. Think about ordering food. If you just say, I want food, you might get anything like the sandwich on the left. But if you say exactly what you want, a turkey sandwich with wheat bread, no mayo, then you might get the sandwich. You'll most likely get the sandwich on the right, with tomato. So, AI is the same way. You get what you need if you write the prompt in a good way. And we'll go deeper into what that looks like. So for every good prompt has 3 parts. And you don't need to remember this, but I just want to break it down for you. First is context. Tell AI about your situation. Second is the task. What exactly do you want it to do? Third is the details. Give it the specific information that matters the most, and then you're going to see it in action. So here's an example of a bad prompt versus a good prompt. The bad prompt is write about my business plan. It's too vague. AI doesn't know what kind of business, it doesn't know what section to write, or, it doesn't know what makes you any different from anyone else. But the good prompt that's here is more specific to the equity program, to South Los Angeles, if that's the neighborhood. It states the task clearly, to write my company description. And it includes details like the business name, Green Healing, and that is focused locally with the community. So this is what gets you good results, is writing a good prompt. Okay, so now you can watch me do this live, writing the good prompt. So I'm going to be typing out the good prompt that we just looked at, and I'll be including the business name, location, and what makes the business different. So I right now, the font is small, so I'm going to read it out loud that I'm typing. I'm applying for a cannabis retail license in South Los Angeles through the city's equity program. I need help writing the company description of my business plan. My dispensary will be called Green Healing and will focus on serving the local community. And then I talk about, the quality products and the education. That's what's differentiating my business from this dispensary from another dispensary. And then I ask it, can you help me write this section? And so it's finishing typing that up. Okay. And then I'm going to hit send. And then you can watch the AI start writing on the right-hand side. It takes maybe 10 to 20 seconds. And here's what you get: a full company description and then some. So this is about like 80% of what you're going to need. And then later on, you can add more details. And I'll talk about that next, or give it more details. And then on the left-hand side, and this is what I really like, is that it breaks down, it summarizes what it wrote. So it'll tell me, it'll break down for me, summarize, a recap of that company description that it wrote. And then the chat box opens up again at the bottom left-hand corner. So this is to demonstrate what it looks like once you're in that conversation. So here are the mistakes I see all the time. First, like I said, being too vague, like write my business plan. And, AI needs more details than that. Second, not including your actual business information, because AI can't guess that for you. It doesn't know what license type you're applying for. Third, asking AI to do 5 different things in one prompt. Like, that's way too much. It needs to be broken down into steps. And fourth, not mentioning you're in LA's equity program or the specific neighborhood you want to operate in. Like, these details matter for getting the results you want to see. So here's a template that I think will be useful for you to use. You could take a screenshot of this and save it for future use. And this will work for any business plan section. All you have to do is just fill in the brackets with your information. So for example, I'm applying for, and then you would type in whatever license type, cultivation, retail, dispensary, delivery, whatever license type it is, you would type that in to that spot. And then you would be specific about the neighborhood or city that you plan on operating in. And then through the Los Angeles Cannabis Equity Program, and then you would say, I need help writing, and then you would write that, fill in that section. Either it could be the company description, your mission statement, whatever that section is, you write that section there of my business plan. And then you say, my business is called, and you would put the title of your business, the specific name, if you know it. And then and then you complete, what makes your business different or unique. And then you say, can you help me draft this section? And so this template will save you a lot of time, because you can reuse this template over and over again for different sections of your plan. So like I say, take a screenshot of this and save it, because it will save you time. Now, different sections of the business plan need different information in your prompts. AI can help you research demographics, competitors, and market data for your area. Give it your specific location and you can ask it to find more information for you. But always, always verify what it tells you. I can't stress that enough. Check that the competitors actually do even exist. Confirm the demographics are current and add your own observations about the neighborhood. This table shows you what to emphasize in each section's prompt. And you can take a screenshot of this too. So for example, your executive summary is going to be about your business name. It's going to list your business name, your location, what you sell, and why you're different. The company description can talk about your equity status, the neighborhood demographics, community connection. Your market analysis will be mostly your research that you're doing about your local competition, who your customers are, and the demographics you're going to serve. Your organization and management is your team, their experience and your role. And if you don't have a team yet, it can be about the team that you're going to put together and what their role will be. Products and services is about the specific products, sourcing information if you have it, and your pricing strategy. And then your financial projections is your numbers, your startup costs, operating expenses, and revenue estimates. So these are some of the main components that will fit and belong in any business plan that you will write. So, it's very critical. What AI gives you is just a starting point. It's maybe 80% done, maybe gets you 80% of the way. Your job is to add that final 20%, the things that only you know. Like, for example, your actual costs, your personal connection to the community, the specific research that you did, and most importantly, making it sound like you and not like AI wrote it. So, that's the 80-20 rule that I want you to keep in mind as you're writing these plans. Also, I want you to remember that you're not stuck with AI's first answer. You can ask it to revise. If it's too generic, for example, tell it to be more specific and give it details. Like, this is good, but can you make it more specific to South Los Angeles and emphasize community connection more? If it sounds too stiff and formal, ask for a more authentic tone or accessible tone. Tell it to, sound more simple and straightforward. If it's missing something and something important, tell it what to add. Like, can you add a paragraph about my team's experience in the community that sets us apart? So this is a conversation, not a one-shot deal. It's normal to have back and forth conversations with AI because it's learning how to assist you better as the conversation goes along. It is learning you. It is learning your business. So the more you interact with it, the better it becomes, the better your results are going to come out. So let me show you how this works. And I'm going to play this video. And so here's the company description that AI wrote for us earlier. And, maybe I found that it was too generic. So I'm going to ask it in the bottom left-hand corner, in the bottom left hand, I'm asking it to, make some changes. I'm telling it to emphasize community connection more and to add details about our team's local experience. So I'm typing that in. Okay, and then once I'm done typing, then I'll hit send. And then you'll see the magic, more AI magic. neighborhood. Okay, so now I'm hitting send and it's thinking. All right, so now on the right-hand side again, it's creating the revised version on the right-hand side of the screen, and it's going to be more specific. It's going to get more personal, more authentic. And you can see kind of in real time all the changes that it's making. And then and then once it's done, it'll let me know it's done, because then on the left-hand side, it's telling me all of the changes that it made. Now, of course, I'm going to read it and I'm going to make sure that, I like what it says. But, as I'm skimming through it and I'm looking at it, it has the mission statement, the vision, community commitment. It talks about products and services. Like it's doing a lot. And it talks about competitive advantages, commitment to compliance and safety. So, and then it concludes that section. And so once I'm happy with that, what I'll do is I will copy it in the top right corner. It says copy or publish. I don't do publish. I don't select publish because it's going to publish it. It's going to make it public to it makes it public to anyone either using Claude or it makes it accessible on the internet. And I don't want my business plan to be accessible on the internet, so I do not hit publish. I hit copy. So I hit copy or hit download. And then I'm going to go to my other tab, and then I'm going to open up my Google Docs. Now you can use Word, but I use Google Docs, and I opened up a blank document, and I'm going to paste what I copied in Claude into the Google Doc, right? And so now everything is there. That whole, all the revisions, all those changes are there. And now I can edit from here. I can copy and paste and edit in my Google Doc or my Word doc what it wrote and make it more of my own, adding that 20% flavor seasoning to my business plan. So that is how I use the writing features in AI and then make it my own in my own document. So here's your workflow. I mean, this is what I would suggest that you do is to, get the AI output like I showed you when you copied it from that right-hand side, copy it into a Google Doc or Word. Wherever you're building your actual business plan, that's where you want to copy it. Copy and paste or download the document from AI. Remove anything that's too generic or incorrect as you read through it in your document. You can adjust the tone so it sounds more like you, some basic editing. And then finally, have someone else read it, your partner or a mentor or someone from your network, because a fresh set of eyes can catch things that you might miss. Like, what did you want to be able to explain and feel very comfortable with the document, even though AI wrote it. So it's important, like I said, that you are comfortable with and understand what has been written thoroughly. So here's what I want you to do before we meet the next time. First, I want you to create your account. Pick which tool you want and set it up. Second, try writing just one business plan section using the template that I gave you. Don't do the whole business plan in one go. Just practice with one section at a time because you don't want to overwhelm yourself. Third, practice revisions. Practice revising it with AI. Have that back and forth conversation to make sure that it's just right. Get an answer from AI and ask it to improve it at least twice. Then move on to your next section. So that's what your homework is. And then here are some resources that, the 3 AI tools that we went over were um, that's available on websites are listed here. And you can find tips on how to write your business plan for each one of these. But the free tools was the Chat GPT, Claude, and Gemini. And then in addition, I have created a YouTube channel at LaWanda Knox MBA that will have tips and tricks of how I like to use the tools to write business plans and help you grow and manage your business. So you can also go to my YouTube channel and get more free tips and tricks on how to use AI. But also, if you get stuck, there are resources through DCR and technical assistance. So you're not alone in this. You can always get help with your business plan. So, today we've covered a lot, the basics of using AI to help you write your business plan. You know how to choose a tool, set it up, write the prompts that work, and edit what you get. This is your foundation. Everything else will build on this. So again, I'm LaWanda Knox. You can reach me at LaWanda at makegreengo.com. You can check out our websites. And I'll see you in part 3, where we're going to talk about how to use AI for real life business situations in the future. And so thank you for listening to my presentation. I'm going to open it up. Looks like my moderator is back. I'm going to open it up for questions now. You can ask about anything, choosing tools, writing prompts, editing outputs, whatever you need clarity on, that's what I'm here for.
So thank you, Luanda. That was amazing information, so helpful. We are going to move on to our questions and answer part of the seminar. So let me go ahead and start with those. Got some really good questions. First question, I think this is an important one. Can I use AI on my phone?
Yes, you can absolutely use AI on the phone. Most of these apps, I mean, all of the primary apps, especially the ones I talked about, have a mobile app version. So you can download them whether you're using Apple Store or Google Play. The apps operate just like the website. You can type your prompt, get your answers. You can even use voice to text, which I like to use a lot when I'm on the go. The only thing that's harder about the mobile app is that if you're copying long sections like we just did into your actual business plan document, then you might want to switch to a computer. But the good thing is if you're using the app and then you can switch to your desktop or the computer and it will have the same, it will still have that information in there. You don't have to start over. It will save that information. But yes, you can absolutely use your AI from your phone. The phone is fine.
Okay, awesome. Now that actually begs a question. What if I don't have a computer?
Most public libraries, that's a good question, but most public libraries have computers that you can use for free. So, and then many of you may have access to computers through co-working spaces or business development programs. But the bottom line is don't let that stop you because the tools through a phone, an iPad. The tools work on whatever device you have.
Okay. When there's a will, there's a way, right?
Absolutely.
So let me ask the next question. We talked about the free services. We talked about the paid versions. Let's talk about how much the paid versions really help. How can they really help in separate from the free ones?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're you're doing your initial business plan draft, the free version is enough. Where it becomes worth upgrading to the paid version is if you need faster responses or you're asking more questions per day, because then you might hit your limit on the free version and you might want to keep going. So if you want to keep going past that or, use it more often, like I use it across my whole business, then it'll become obvious that it's worth, paying the $20 a month or whatever the amount is, so that you have more usage and you don't hit those limits as soon. But I think starting free to get a feel, especially if you're trying to compare different tools and you're not sold yet on which one is going to work best for you, the free version is best to get a feel for what works, and then you can upgrade from there if you need to.
Awesome. No, that sounds like a really good idea. Okay, so stuff that's on people's mind is access to information, privacy, and a lot of different things. So there's a question: can AI steal my business plan?
Yeah, that is a good question. So again, that's kind of why I was saying too, like don't publish it because publishing it makes it accessible on the internet. But all these major companies, but as long as you're just copying and pasting it and using it within your own account, it'll be fine. Because these major AI companies, they state in their terms that they don't use these conversations to train their models unless you opt into that. But your business plan info, stays private in your account as long as you don't publish it or share it on the internet. Um, but also, and this is really important, don't share sensitive information like your social security numbers or your bank account information or your passwords. But so don't share personal information or business information that's that um, you know,
Sensitive. Yep.
thank you. That's that sensitive. But for information that is like your business concept or your market analysis and your financial projections, that information you should absolutely use these tools for. Um, so yeah, but if you're really concerned, just check with each tool's privacy policy. But like I said, the major AI companies take privacy seriously because their reputation depends on it.
Makes complete sense. All right. I'm an old guy. I've been around the block a few times. I remember back in the day, there was no such thing as AI. There was no conversation about AI.
Right.
As we progressed into this kind of new era of information and capabilities by way of our, technology, what if someone like myself or others out there, what if they don't trust AI at all?
Yeah, I mean that's fair and it's a healthy skepticism is, is good to have because AI is still pretty, relatively new, but it's if it's something that, AI doesn't if it doesn't feel right or it doesn't match your vision, you can change it. So the way I look at it is just a tool and you're still in the driver's seat. I mean, you're still the CEO. So AI is just your assistant. So, start with something small and something that is not detrimental to your business or, if you use it for personal use, not detrimental. Use it for like just, a section of your plan. See if that's helpful. If it doesn't work for you, then you haven't lost anything. But once you start to use it and you see how it's going to speed up the process and allow you to allows you to get unstuck on things that you've been, stuck on, like your financial projections, then you'll find it's a useful tool in your toolbox um, and that's all that it is. But you don't have to trust it blindly. You should be willing to try it and see if it works for you, but make sure you verify that what it's telling you is correct.
Yeah, that makes sense. And were you just all in from the get-go on your side of the fence, or how did that work for you?
Um, Once, let me see, because I've been using AI for I think going on 3 years now. And so I was pretty much all in from the get-go, just because when I saw how it worked, I was like, this is going to, because I'm a small company, right? Small business. And when I saw that what it could do for like my marketing efforts and brainstorming ideas, it was a game changer. It was a game changer for me, which is why I'm sharing it.
No, that makes great sense. That makes great sense. I think, so much. so much really great information, that you've shared.
Yeah.
And I think again, as people get more comfortable with the technology and understand how useful it can be, I think this is, a really great, addition to the toolbox, if you will, for businesses. What
Hmm.
I'm going to do is I'll ask you a question, as we, start to wrap this session up.
Yep.
If there were one or two, two or three kind of high level, like must knows for businesses, business owners, including myself, who's a business owner,
Yeah.
that is starting to look at these assets. And again, we talked about trust and we talked about a number of different things,
Yeah.
how to best, understand one, but more importantly, to leverage, hey, I've never done it before. Like, what are
Gotcha.
like the top two or three things that you're going to say, look, these are the things that you have to take into consideration. These are the things that you have to kind of implement from the beginning because this is going to be able to maximize this opportunity, this resource for you. What would be those two or three
Oh, I see.
things? Yeah.
Let's see. I would say, you know, starting from the basics, so like getting organized, like I think it helps well. Okay, let me back up. So I worked with another tool. I have my own CRM, my customer relations management system, but it doesn't use AI. And the CRM, it's just like your basic, project management tools. And I wasn't using it efficiently. I knew this. Like I was just kind of using like basic tools that I understood. So once AI came on, I said, "Hey, I'm using I don't like to put out names, but I was just saying I'm using Zoho One for my CRM and my project management tools, but I'm not using it efficiently. This is how I'm using it. Can you tell me how I can use it better, how I can use it, more efficiently so that I can improve my business?" And it provided me with, I took some screenshots of, my CRM and so it told me better workflows and how to set up those workflows in another platform, right? I mean,
Wow.
AI was telling me how to improve my workflows in Zoho. So then, and it told me step by step. So something I didn't know how to do, something I could not figure out and I struggled with for years, it told me immediately how I could improve my systems. And those systems help me work better, make me more efficient. So now I'm able to get my invoices out faster, right? They're more accurate. I'm able to yeah, all of the issues that I was having as a small business, AI has helped me become more efficient. So I would say whatever tools that you're already using, step one is like whatever tools you're using, ask AI to help you improve those. And then another issue that I was having was just like, oh, a big one. I shouldn't even be sharing this.
You're amongst friends. You're amongst friends, Lawanda.
Oh man, those RFPs. Are you kidding me? The RFPs. It's like I would get the RFP, and in the past, I have to read. I mean, I would still read through the whole thing. I got to read through this whole thing. And then there's only really a small part of it, the scope, that I really need to focus on. So I've fed AI all of my past RFP responses, and then I'll provide it with the new RFP, and I'm saying, help me develop a strategy for what I've already done based on my experience to match what they are asking for. And then, I'm able to read through it and I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like I'm
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
it's a game changer. And I still have to do the work and I still have to be
Sure.
able to perform, but just the amount of time, you understand what I'm saying? The
Oh, yeah.
time
Oh, yeah.
that it takes to put out a response to those RFPs or any application. It could be a license application. It could be,
Sure.
you know, anything like that. You know, what you're capable of, but sometimes putting it into words, is the thing that can get you across the finish line. It is the
Yeah.
thing that can stop you from making it across the finish line. I'm sorry, that was a long answer.
No, and I think it's applicable, bringing it back to today's subject
I
matter.
know.
I mean, business plans, I mean, those are hard to do. I mean, especially if that's not something you've been really exposed to or very, very familiar with. So being
Yeah.
able to leverage the resource in things like whether it be proposal writing or in this case, business plans, I think it's to your point, a very useful tool because it helps you look at and kind of look at the information and understand the information and put the information together more efficiently and likely more effectively. So I think
Well,
that's yeah.
yeah. And then because absolutely. And then that's the first step. Just getting the business plan written. Like people would take years, months,
Oh yeah.
and being stuck writing the business plan. You still got to operate the business.
Oh yeah.
So,
There's that.
right? So get through it.
Yeah.
Get through the
Yeah.
business plan writing so that way now you have this asset, the business plan
Yeah.
being this asset that you can now feed AI the way I feed it my RFP responses. You can feed
Sure.
it your business plan and then have it tell it, okay, so now I need to work on this application. I need to develop this marketing plan. I don't want to have this YouTube channel. And it will tell you step by step how to start your channel, how to market it, and all of the things that you need in separate chats. And it will
Yeah.
memorize it for you. So now it's really your go-to assistant on all things related to your business because it has your business plan.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great. That's great information. Well, Lawanda, a big thank you. I mean, this is really, really helpful information. I think really a great resource for all of our listeners, people that'll be downloading this from the web as well. So thank you, Lawanda, and thank everyone for attending this informational webinar offered by the City of Los Angeles Department of Cannabis Regulation. This webinar recording will be found on DCR's Learning Management System. If you have any questions on accessing your account, please email dcr.sep@lacity.org. Thank you again for joining us and have a wonderful rest of the day.